I'm Abby Riggleman with The Breeze, and I had the honor of interviewing students from the LGBT+ community. We discussed how they are able to integrate with our community, what we can do to help make it better. Lastly, we discussed some key terms that are really essential for everyone to know.
So I identify as queer, and what that means to me is, just like any identity, it means different things to different people. So even if somebody else identifies as queer, like my queer and their queer is like completely different. And so it's basically just a way for me to identify with the community, but it doesn't put me into a smaller box from that.
I fall under asexual in that I generally don't prefer to be intimate with people. A lot of them can be abstinent like their whole lives. They don't like having sex with anyone. The idea of sex physically makes them ill. For everyone else, it's considered gray A, which is what I fell under a majority of the time, like say 80–90% of the time, you don't find interest in sex. The other 10–20% of the time, maybe you could hook up with literally anyone, or you could hook up with just like maybe one or two people as the mood describes, or however like you're feeling, or you can only want to be intimate with somebody that you genuinely love.
I identify as queer, and that's one of the Qs in the LGBTQIQAP plus alphabet. And queer to me is like a label without having to identify with a label. It's kind of like a fluid identity, so it basically just means that I'm not straight.
I've never experienced like any straight up like discrimination to my face, but I think there's a lot of like institutionalized discrimination. I mean, like, I'm afraid to walk around campus holding my girlfriend's hand. Recently, when Madison Equality had Gay MU and they, received some like pretty hateful emails, it's like people like believe that JMU is like this really friendly and accommodating place, and like sometimes it is for certain groups of people, but I think for like LGBTQ people, it's not really, and makes me, not feel as comfortable as I think as I want to here at JMU.
Definitely found a lot of people that are very accepting, but on the whole, I think JMU is more tolerant than accepting. A lot of people may think that it is accepting, but they don't understand what it's like being queer. You hear a lot of people saying slurs all the time casually, homophobic slurs or transphobic slurs. Things like that don't just hurt me, it hurts like the whole community.
Oh, asexual, does that mean you're a prude? Have you never had sex? Have you only been with like, do you not get with the right guys? You could be with me, I'm a real man. I was like, no, I promise you'll disappoint me in 2 minutes or less. So I'm just like, well, okay. So it like, I don't know if it's exactly discrimination per se, but it's definitely like alienation.
When we did receive all that like hateful emails and all the Twitter and all that stuff, is that we had so many people like come out of the woodworks to like support us. They were fighting people on Twitter for us. They started this, I think it was like a Facebook page and a Twitter called like JMU Love, and there was almost 400 or maybe more people that clicked going on the event page for Gay MU. So it's just like that kind of stuff. There are people here who really do care.
I get a lot of support from the queer community specifically. We all try to keep each other going, I feel like.
I think coming to JMU and being exposed to like the love and support of the friends I managed to find definitely helped. The only reason I felt comfortable like diving into like trying to get the nitty-gritty of this is who I am. I know my friends are so open-minded and incredible and supportive.
People that, basically run the school are behind us, then maybe everybody else will get behind it. Getting the LGBT and ally education program out of the health center would be a great start. It doesn't belong there. It's housed here because like the health center was the only place I would take it, and they've been really great to us since we've been here. But it's a stigma. It like continues the stigma that it's a sickness, even though that it was taken out of the DSM back in 1973.
I think that they're taking very small steps towards helping us. Administration needs to acknowledge that we're having problems on campus, and they haven't openly acknowledged that. We need a full-time staff member for the LGBT and ally education program. there's 20,000 students and we don't have a single full-time person working on 20,000 students and working on the queer community. There's no representation. It's all student-run. We have a GA, but our GAs also have classes and they circulate every single year, so we never get anything done.
Be who you are, and labels don't make the man, but when you feel so alienated as a person, labels can be like the most important thing. As long as you identify as it, it's legitimate. Like, you can't tell somebody like that, you can't be that, that's not a thing, when they're sitting here like, it's a thing because I feel it. You have to associate yourself with the right people. If you don't feel safe, like, you shouldn't have to leave, but please do for your own sake and safety.
Really take the initiative to educate themselves, and so you can do that by going to Madison Equality meetings. Usually every week they cover a different topic that's important to the LGBT community, and so that's a great way to learn. You can come to the LGBT and ally education program. There's tons of books and movies and volunteers that know everything and could really help.
I think if you want to be a really good ally or be a really supportive ally, you need to show up to some of our events and just be there with us, and maybe not even say you're an ally, just blend in with the group and stand with us. Be an active bystander. So when it's safe, definitely safety is an issue, but when it is safe and you hear someone saying a slur against someone, just speak up and be like, hey, that isn't okay, and it could be hurting a lot more people than you think.